it a rumor, but I've heard that Less Than Jake comes from a family parrot. What's up, everybody? My name is Noah from Good Vibes Promotions, and today we have had the honor of interviewing Roger from the band Less Than Jake. And I have to say, after the interview, I became an even bigger fan. Cannot wait to see them live here in NZ. But as always, fam, much love. Peace. Hey.
Hello.
Hello, Roger. I can hear you.
Oh.
How are you doing today, man?
Hey, man, not bad. Thanks for having me, man. Everything's cool. Last day of tour, a little hectic.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for giving us your time. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Like roll off your album and then go from there if you want to, or
no, whatever you like. I'm up for whatever. I just started in here from the last sound check of this little part of the run here, and getting ready to get on a very, very long day and a half of traveling to get over to New Zealand. So,
yes.
You know.
Oh, so you're currently still in Florida?
Just living it right now, living it.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, your Nudist EP, is it called?
Yeah, I got a little, I lost what you were saying there for a little. I just switched to a different Wi-Fi. We'll see if that helps. But
cool.
yeah, I mean, I guess technically it's an EP, but it's it's 7 songs, but I feel like you're getting the value of a record out of it.
Definitely.
Some of the songs have kind of, highs and lows and stuff. So I'll be honest with you, man, like a lot of the more recent records that we've done, you do a full record. A lot of people don't even get to some of those tracks. They don't even listen to that back half. They just kind of hear the single or maybe the first few tracks, and a lot of those tracks get ignored. So yeah, this time we tried to kind of like, maybe a little bit more quality, but a little less quantity, and see if we can get people to actually listen to all 7 songs.
I actually love that direction. Yeah. Quality over quantity is it. I heard your track, I think it's Sunnyside. What was the inspiration behind all that? Because that's a real happy feeling song to me. It's a real like summer vibey, like real beachy sounding.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that's one of my, it's probably my favorite of the new ones right now. We've been playing that one, and it feels great. And yeah, it's a positive message. You got to try to I don't know, avoid your demons when you can, and just try to be a positive person in general. Try to try to put what's in the past behind you. It's kind of the the general message of like, hey man, don't beat yourself up over shit. It's like that. Try to keep, and it's like and it's real personal for me in a weird way. There's a lyric in there that's like 7 years since I changed my name, and I did that. I did change my name to have a different last name for my son and stuff. Whatever, it's just personal for me too. So it's awesome.
So there's a deeper meaning behind the song. Because I'll be honest, I've only taken it for surface level, and it was just a happy feeling song for me. So I was just thinking changing your last name would have been that's pretty deep and personal. So
yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just the idea of just trying to do the best with what you have in front of you, and and for me, it was just when I did change my name, it was so that my son would have the last name of my grandfather, who was kind of more of a father figure for me than my dad ever was.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's actually really good that you had that father figure. A lot of people don't, so that is cool. Speaking of names, I've heard, I'll call it a rumor, but I've heard that Less Than Jake comes from a family parrot being more important than band practice. Is this true?
Okay, there's a few details maybe a little off, but the gist of the story is correct, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't a parrot, it was a bulldog.
Oh, right. The article I read, it said it was a parrot.
Yeah,
and I was
funny.
that's...
We've morphed the story many times from being asked so many times over the course of the band's history. So maybe if somebody said parrot at some point at an interview, who the hell
got mixed up and
and we can say it's anything, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the parents would get very upset over the loud noises, and they would be like, you got to stop that. It's bothering the dog. So, yeah. The dog's name was obviously Jake. There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting story. I was like, that's really cool. Something, you know, like, because I love a story behind a name of something, like, you know, like, but yeah, that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, so New Zealand touring, you're coming up towards that. What I wanted to ask you myself actually, but what are some of your favorite moments from touring in New Zealand, if you have toured in New Zealand before? Because
dude, you know, we've done a couple things there. I remember really clearly though, it was like Warped Tour did a show. It was 1998, and we were actually in New Zealand for New Year's of like 1999.
Oh, nice.
It was like, and the festival site was like on a really cool spot, like, you know, near the water. I think it was further south from Auckland, you know, it was down on the coast somewhere there.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful, man. And, you know, like New Zealand is just absolutely gorgeous, and the climate and stuff. It's just everybody just seems to be in a good mood overall over there, and it's a really great vibe. So, but I do remember that Warped Tour being there for like a New Year's and being like, I'm on the other side of the world. This is crazy. You know?
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. What was that? That's fairly early in your career then, eh?
Yeah. That was like I said, I think it was New Year's of 1999. Like it became 1999. It was wild.
That is insane.
We did a couple other interesting stuff. We played some real kind of like out in the middle of nowhere places, and we like crashed in somebody's barn, and they're like, you know, out in the field of like, you know, like instead of a regular hotel, like really getting out in the country a little bit, and it's just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
to get back there
I have to admit, we are rather blessed in New Zealand here.
Yeah, man. There's like no like scorpions and snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're very lucky.
Yeah. No, it's a really peaceful country. I do love it here. I do want to explore the world a bit more, but yeah. Off the back of that, there was another the touring thing. Is there any like, what's your like go-to song when you're touring? Like your favorite song to perform when you're up there, you know, like.
Oh, right on. Well, I gotta say, you know, like we're really lucky. We have a lot of old songs that people like care about. Like, you know, we have a lot of stuff we can dig up, and there's obviously like sort of the hits, you know. There's the Johnny Quests and the Gainesville Rock Cities and the Look What Happened and All My Best Friends Are Metalheads type songs.
Yeah.
Whereas it's kind of the staples. And I'm not going to say that it's boring to play those songs, but it's a little bit expected in a way, right?
Yeah,
if you saw Guns N' Roses, they didn't play Welcome to the Jungle, that would just be weird.
What?
But for me, like, just, you know, the fact that we're still like, you know, actively working on new stuff, and we're like sort of proud of it. We're like, hey, this is actually an awesome song. Like, I'm stoked on the new stuff. Like any of the new songs that we've played, and we've been shuffling around all like of the 5 singles, you know.
Yeah. Playing
any of those just feels cool, and like, and then you look out in the crowd and you see people singing along to the new stuff, and that always like fuels me. You know? Because I want to keep moving forward, man. I want to, you know, keep making new songs, and I know that it's weird, but like, I know we've been at this for a long time, but I still don't feel like we've written like our best songs, or, you know, we're like not anywhere near done. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It feels that way. Yeah.
I mean, after such a long time of creating music too, like, it must be like, you know, like it must be almost an addiction, I'd call it, because you guys, when you're up there, and I've only had the pleasure of seeing a video, like I haven't seen it live, but your guys' energy when you're up there, it's like you're running around, sweating, like, you know, putting your lives in, and I love to see it. It's so cool to watch.
Yeah, we're lucky that we have the fans that show up and also give us that energy back. You know, there's an energy exchange that goes on there. Yeah. I feel like for us at this age in the game, it's like going to the gym. You know, we're going through the motions and we're sweating and we're putting it all out there, but the fans always kind of give that back in a way. So it's a mutual understanding there.
Yeah. Off the back of that, what do you think some of the biggest changes in the industry is from when you released your first debut album, Pairscore, 1995?
Oh my God. I mean, it's a completely different world as far as the music industry goes, man. It's so wild. It's just the connection that you can have with your fans now is such more of a direct line. It's just crazy. For a younger band starting out, the resources that are literally in the palm of your hand are just incredible. Like we didn't have any of this. We didn't have Apple Maps or like
Zoom
Google.
calls.
It was like, oh man, it was such a different time. But as far as kind of the music goes, though, I still feel like weirdly enough, the good stuff still sort of rises to the top. The major label era, they would pick up, the bands that were doing well in certain towns and certain areas, and it would help blow those bands up, and they were the bands that were doing well.
Yeah.
And it's sort of still the same nowadays in sort of this singles, featuring so and so kind of era Spotify playlist kind of time frame. It's still like the stuff that people like, the stuff that's good still floats to the top. There's still a lot of people out there trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's just as difficult as it was back in the day. So I do think that it's kind of getting, for me, it's just getting a little bit away from straight up live music, hearing a lot more, program tracks and like
AI,
fake drums, like you see a band and it's like, oh, there's keyboards on the song, but there's no keyboard player on stage, stuff like that. Like, I think, I'm a little bit old school and I grew up, listening to like 70s rock. And
I like it.
I want to hear the band, like the band's making all of these sounds that I'm hearing,
Yeah.
So I think that's changed a bit. It's a bit more normal and more accepted by like a lot of different genres, where that used to just be, well, only DJs do that kind of stuff, but now everybody's running tracks, but we don't do that. That's not part of the philosophy. But yeah, man, I think it's a little bit different in some of that kind of way. But man, still though, you go to a show, there's a good band playing, people, the energy is the same. People are jumping up and down, they're having a good time. Like live music is still, like you said, it's still like a drug.
Yeah, yeah, and like that feeling when you're up there and you're in that state of, I call it the zone, like, and you're just go, what? Like, can you explain that feeling, or is it inexplainable?
Yeah, no, man, I know what you're talking about. You calling it the zone? I call it flow state.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, it's like when it's like, I don't know, like, have you ever like built a Lego set or something? Like a Lego set is a good example for me, right? You're just sitting there and you're just following through the motions, but you're not really thinking very much. You're just living the moment. It's kind of like a calming almost, where there's room in your mind for thinking, but you're not really using it. You're just kind of going through and just enjoying the piece of the moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of weirdly like that for me, playing a lot, especially like right now we're doing, album shows. We're playing all these old songs, and it's everything's sort of on autopilot in a way. And I'm performing and I'm interacting with the crowd, but at the same time, like there's like a lot I could be thinking about, oh man, I got to remember to get an oil change when I get home. And like, there's other room in there where you're just kind of in this weird, like, I just call it like a flow state. You're just going along in the river, and sometimes you're still in the flow of the river, but you're still looking around and like noticing the trees and stuff, like it's like a really weird experience. Because a lot of these songs we've played thousands of times,
yes,
and we're pretty well rehearsed, so not really thinking about the mechanics of playing or singing. It's more about like
just enjoying the moment.
That guy has a cool hat,
Yeah. I see. Okay.
But I'm singing, but I'm, I don't know.
Is it like an out of body experience, or because it sounded real out of body? Like
I think at times it can be. Like I said, on sort of the newer songs and the stuff that's like a little bit more fresh, then you're kind of more. I'm more like present and like really paying attention to how I'm singing it. But on some of the older songs, it's like I just I've rehearsed this a thousand times, so it's just it's almost weirdly like like it's not on the back burner, but it's hard to explain. It's just it's going to happen regardless of what like I'm thinking about. Like it's going to come out.
It's just muscle memory.
Zone, man.
It's flowing. It's that's so cool.
And it's
speaking of actually, it was a back question of the last thing you said. Who are some of your musical inspirations? Like what was the band that made you kind of like, like, I could probably give this a go. Like, this could be me. I love this.
So yeah, man. So it's weird. I have a kind of a weird music upbringing. I was very lucky. I have a pretty musical family. My uncle was a drummer in a band in the 70s. So I grew up with a drum set in the house all the time, and, band members coming over and that kind of thing. My mom was a huge music lover. She just bought tons of records, and I was exposed to music at a really early age.
Yep.
I took piano lessons for a long time as a little kid. I played the viola for 5 years. By the time that I got around to getting into punk rock and electric guitar, I was really into like Iron Maiden was like my favorite band. You know what I mean? Like that kind of really themed metal and the longer songs and the guitar solos and all that kind of stuff. And then, and I was exposed to some punk rock. I had heard of the Descendants. I'd heard of Black Flag. I'd heard of the Ramones, obviously. But, it wasn't until it was in 1990. No, 1989. I went to a house party. It was like a high school keg party, right?
Yep.
And there was a band playing on the tennis court at this house. Like, it was like somebody's parents were out of town and they threw a party kind of thing. And there was a band playing on a tennis court, and they played a Green Day cover, and they played some other of that type of pop punk, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to me that night, but I was just like, that's the funnest shit there is to do.
Yeah.
I was like, that is fun. And I was like, I was like listening, and I was like, I could play that guitar part. Like, I could do that. I sang in church. Like, I could maybe do that. And that's really what made me start a band when I was in high school, in my first band, you know what I mean? First real band. So that band was called Quit. And funny enough, many, many years later, the guitar player for that band ended up touring with Les and Jake all over the world as a guitar tech. Many years later.
So cool.
And to top off the story, when they played on that tennis court, I was so taken by it that I actually stole the set list that they had written on notebook paper. And I've had it framed in my studio since I was a teenager.
Nice. I love that little memorabilia from your first moment. That's so cool.
So yeah, that was, for me, it was like really obvious. I was like, dude, I could totally do this. And I started a band and moved to college, and I met Chris, and then Les and Jake started really rolling.
Yeah. So you have really known each other for like a long time, you and Chris, because I watch your guys' chemistry and it looks amazing. I've seen a few of your acoustic performances, like, while you're out and about, and those are really cool. I love those. Like, but the way you harmonize together, it's like you're just a well-oiled machine. Like, you've done it for. It's just so cool to watch. It's real. It is like, from someone from the outside looking in, it's like, whoa, these dudes are amazing.
It's a crazy thing. We've been singing together for so freaking long, man. Yeah. It's almost like when we're working on something new or something, like, he already knows what I'm thinking, like where I'm gonna go, like what chord I want to go to, and then he already knows what harmony I'm gonna want to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy working relationship.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask you, I heard you were the gamer of the group.
Oh yeah, a bit, yeah, for sure. Out of everybody in this band, absolutely.
Yeah.
What happened is, my son, when he was like 6 or 7 years old, he was like playing the games that his friends were playing and everything, and found this game called Fortnite, and I was like, I don't know anything about this. And I was like, I'll play with you, whatever. I'm not, and I just got addicted to it. I'm just not gonna lie. I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And he gave up on it for years. He's like, that's not cool anymore, Dad. Whatever. And I've still been playing. And actually, on this season right now, he's playing a little bit again. But I'm still kind of like hooked on Fortnite. Is really what it is.
Yeah.
I like the games that, like, you play it, you drop in, you play it for 20 minutes, and then it's over. Like, there's no like continuing quests in a way, like, where now I have to go talk to this other character, and it's not so much of that, like, because I get too addicted to that stuff, so I just got to play stuff that's sort of like, I can end it in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Quick game, in and out, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Fortnite. Okay, so that is interesting, because I was wondering what game it was that hooked you.
And then also, I kind of, when I started getting into Fortnite a little bit, I discovered this whole like world of streamers, because I wasn't really too hip to that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is pretty cool. I could do this. So I've been streaming on Twitch, for a couple of years already. Yeah, for a couple of years. When I'm not on tour and I got my computer there and stuff, like, I'll go on there and play some Fortnite, and sometimes even do some music on there, just for fun, and then kind of gives like some of the fans like direct access. Hey man, you want to ask me about a song? Here I am.
That is so awesome. The whole like streaming community and stuff, like, it was, even for me, when I found out about it, it was something that I was like, are you serious? Like, I can do this for, like, like, every day. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so when I went into it, it was the same thing. It was like, I can do that. I can do that too. Like, oh yeah, like let's get it done. Like, and it was just it just segued into and now I'm sitting here with you talking to you. So it's a real big honor for me. Is there anything you would like to ask? Anything you would like to put out there to my community and YouTube?
Oh, I'm good, man. Thanks for the time. I'm just like I said, realize how lucky we are, and I'm very grateful that we're still a band after this long, and for people to be checking out our new stuff and our new EP Uncharted. And if you could come out to a show and dance around a little bit.
I can't wait to dance around with you. So I can't wait. I'm excited for it. It's going to be so much fun. Man.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But anyway, Roger, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate every second. It's just been a pleasure to talk to you.
Awesome, man. So I'll see you in a few days then, maybe?
Yes, sir. You will. I'll be there. Much love, man. Have a good day.
Appreciate it.